Hey guys, JB here from Alpha Wolf Consulting, coming to you today with the next lesson in the Introduction to Sales and Communications course, which is all about tonality. So, understanding how tonality influences communication. So, an important thing to understand with this is that uh, tonality is a way we communicate our internal state of mind and our emotional state. Mm. So things like, for example, if I'm really happy and joyful and giddy, well, my tonalities are going to be more upbeat and vibrant. So that'll convey to people that I'm in a high upbeat energy. Okay, just to the same, if my tonalities are quite snarky and angry and aggressive and sharp and combative, well, then people are going to get a sense, you know, that my internal state of mind or my emotional state is one of, being upset, unwilling, unwavering to collaborate, things like that. So how we emphasize words and the tones we use when we speak, okay, will infer to someone the level of cooperation and willingness to cooperate that we have, our internal states of mind, our mental state. So, are we stressed? Are we thinking about a million different things? Like, where is our mental focus at? Where is our emotional state at? Are we happy? Are we upset? Are we hurt? Are we sad? All these different things. But also, the sharpness and frequency of the tonality that we use can also convey additional meaning to the language that we use. So things like, for example, if I was to use alert tone, so I would just speak high and sharp, it creates a level of stress, and I'm basically transferring stress into the environment through the vocal range of my speech to let someone know that I'm in a distressed state. So things like when we're in danger, when we're scared, when we're frightened, when we're, in a situation when we need help, we utilize these tonalities. So things like, for example, it's easier for our ears to pick up you know, like the frequency of not fear, but like a distress frequency than it is for us to pick up, for example, a happy frequency or something like that. So it's the sharpness of the distress frequency. It's the tone that our ear and our mind is set up to hear. So if we understand this, we just understand that our minds and our brains are developed basically so that we are able to communicate with one another and work in integral groups, but also that we're able to communicate with one another over longer ranges. So things like whistling and yelling and cooeys and all of that. Like, we have these ways of projecting further than our environment. And distress signaling is one of those ways in terms of a distressful frequency will be basically received, like not received, but basically we will hear that frequency over a longer distance than we would another frequency. So it's just important to understand this, because this unconscious or subconscious level of communication that we have in our body language, tonality, and our language patterns is very, very important, because it's how we communicate additional meanings without having to spell it out, without having to say things. So think about subtlety, subtle inflections, like different tones or tonalities that we use to infer, to imply. Okay. So that's the power of tonalities. And then when we think about it in a sales situation, well, then we're able to infer and imply certain things without actually saying them. For example, how we talk about, for example, the competition. If a customer is talking to us about our product or service and they're talking about the customer, yeah, I totally understand the competition has a product like that, but it doesn't really do what ours does. It doesn't really, and it's things like this. It's being able to infer like the meaning in the words. Do you sort of understand? Because it's quite ambiguous. It doesn't really work the way ours works, or it doesn't really, however you structure it. Like the point is when we're using tonality, we're using a very broad word that has many different meanings, okay? And we're using inflection and tone to imply specific or specified meaning. And that's the important thing about tonality, is that's what it's all about, is specified meaning to the specific words. So the words we say change in meaning depending on the tone and frequency we say them in, but also the cadence and the structure in which we say, which is language patterns. All right. Well, that one sort of ends this one, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much. Bye.